Hello and welcome to the internal analysis of Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. Today I wanted to go ahead and go over a lot of things you're going to be expecting if you want to buy this game to let you know whether or not you want to get it based off of your own preferences. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
It is touching the truth.
Now, a lot of VR players like myself out there were expecting this game to have a certain kind of hype. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, it definitely did not reach that mark. It missed it by a long shot. And while it feels like a lot of us got stabbed in the back for paying $60 and we got all the money just leaking out of our pocket, and we're looking around trying to point blame, trying to figure out what happened, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, it didn't seem like the makers of Titanfall were very equipped to handle a VR first-person shooter. I would have had a better experience playing Onward back in 2017 than I had playing this game. And that's not to say that it's not good in certain respects. The ratings overall, I would like to give this game a 9 out of 10 for single player, but only a 3.5 out of 10 for multiplayer. The single player was really fun, it was interactive, and you got to control a lot of what happened. One of the beginning missions where you first kind of experience this is where you have to design an ambush, and you get to decide where the characters are going to be on the map. So you do have some control over the storyline. It's not like if you place them in the wrong spot, one of the main characters is going to die, but it does kind of give you that illusion of some interactiveness. Unfortunately, the multiplayer, as opposed to the single player had certain weapons that the multiplayer did not, which I thought was kind of strange. Like, you were able to use a bolt action in single player, but not use the bolt action in multiplayer. The multiplayer also did not have any melee. You were able to have a knife you could throw in single player, but not in multiplayer, strangely enough. The netcode also was the most god-awful thing I'd ever experienced in my life. And all of us, despite having around 1 gig up, 1 gig down internet that were able to play this 130 gigabyte game in an hour, all of us getting on there, everybody was teleporting around the map. And it looked like their bodies were doing more movement than their actual legs just to get across the map, like they were ice skating. The servers are almost as if in the middle of the night, EA called Respawn and said, hey, we're gonna need you to have multiplayer right about now. And they just kind of had to rush to throw something out there. Now, I did have some fun in the multiplayer. That's not to say it's not fun, but a lot of the fun in there was purely based off the fact that this is a brand new VR FPS, and a lot of the people in there were really fun to play with. But the experiences were very hindered by the awful servers. There's also some overall game mechanics I think you guys should be aware of if you're going to be in there. For one thing, there's no smooth turning as of right now, which I found extremely off-putting because I normally like to use the joysticks to turn if I'm trying to gradually turn as opposed to, whipping around in real life and trying to shoot somebody. There also seemed to be a severe lack of audio and visual options inside the game. And while the game overall, you're going to hear things saying, oh, it has 50 scenes you can go through, 50 experiences. Those are just experiences. Those are not missions. You will sit through a cutscene and it will say victory at the end as if you've completed a mission. So there's not completely total 50 missions in the game. Also, there's a lot of auto reloading. There is some manual reloading if you've got clips, but if you've got individual shots you need to put in there, like shotgun shells or anything with the lever action where you put in the individual shots, it automatically does it for you, which I find very off-putting. Like, I feel like mainly because it impedes on the realism, but also because you kind of take out that counter. The counter of having a very powerful shotgun at close range is you have to put in those individual shells, and sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower, depending on the person. It's a skill that you can improve upon, and in this game, they just don't have that. Additionally, I did also want to mention if you're trying to find out where to buy it, as if you've got an Oculus where you can play it on the Oculus Store or Steam VR, I have noticed a lot more people have fewer issues buying it through the Oculus Store. I bought it through the Steam Store to be able to work better with my streaming software. Unfortunately, Steam, as opposed to Oculus, is a lot more demanding on your computer. So if your computer already isn't running that well for the recommended specs, I'd recommend trying to get off the Oculus Store if you can, purely because of the fact that it's going to be less demanding on your computer. But I will be listing my specs in the description to let you guys know what I was running off of, to be able to play this game and stream it with little to no issues. Lastly, I did want to say, while this game does have a lot of issues, I think it's got a lot of potential, but they do need to fix a lot of things in here, so I wouldn't recommend buying it just yet. I would not recommend buying this game in its current state. While the single player is very fun, unless you're buying it for just the single player, I would not buy it yet. If you're going off of US currency, it's currently $60. I would recommend waiting until it's about half price, because really that's the value of what the game is at in its current state, unless it makes some major changes soon. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.